Who are you?
Hi, my name is Shawn. I'm a queer, bisexual, cis, able-bodied man who has experimented a lot in life. I have lived in 3 different countries and consider myself a perpetual wanderer. I love books, languages, dogs, movies, food, cabins, mountains, snow. I really don't like running, but I really admire people who love it. Prior to working at Heartspace, I completed a PhD in philosophy, and prior to that, I did some ballet, some theater, and some martial arts. I love movies, I think I mentioned that, especially science fiction, and I also really love poetry and art and science. I'm a fairly regular meditator, and I'm an easy person to talk to. Talk to me about anything and everything.
What would therapy with you look like?
Therapy with me is usually focused on the bigger questions that give our lives meaning. So with that in mind, I often incorporate philosophy into our discussions. For example, Socratic questioning, Stoic exercises, and the exploration of deeper values. I combine these with tried and true forms of therapeutic healing, like cognitive behavioral therapy, which is basically changing unhelpful thoughts, beliefs, and behaviors, rewriting narratives, and existential reframing, which is basically putting things into their proper perspective. I also love to bring in poems, wisdom quotes, and unconventional ideas from great thinkers because I think they offer insight into the universality of a lot of our challenges. And as we progress, I'll encourage you to cultivate your own archives of wisdom which you can turn to when things are difficult. And I'll suggest ways that you can integrate that wisdom into the deeper recesses of your mind. I'll also model the vulnerability and openness that is fundamental to healing. I'm quite open about some of my own personal struggles because I believe it makes it easier for you to be open about yours. And as we build trust and improve the communication between us, you will gain resources for doing the same in the other important relationships in your life.
What are your areas of expertise?
I specialize in helping people explore and heal their relationship with their body, their sexuality, their gender, but I try to do so avoiding conventional approaches and categories that might limit our thinking. So, I think we often remain in cages of our own making when the doors are actually pretty wide open. I also specialize in helping couples and polycules revitalize their relationships through meaningful communication, more connective sex, and the changing of unhelpful patterns. A lot of our problems, I think, stem from looking for stability and belonging in places where they're impossible to find. So my aim as a therapist is to help people build a strong core of inner stability and a sense of belonging anywhere they might find themselves. So I'll also always encourage you to celebrate your differences and to work with your strengths. I'll encourage you to expand your thinking. I'll encourage you to try experiences that are outside of your comfort zone.
What made you become a therapist?
I came to therapy after studying philosophy. I realized that the deeper questions that I was hoping to have as an academic philosopher, the deeper conversations, were actually the types of conversations we have all the time in therapy. I started studying philosophy because I was fascinated by the bigger mysteries in this life. Like, what does it mean to be embodied? What is the nature of sex and gender? What's the nature of time? What is power? I loved exploring these questions in theory, but I also wanted to engage with them outside of the classroom and hopefully use them to make the world a better place. Ultimately, I realized that therapy was a way to make a huge difference in people's lives while still exploring bigger questions. It's an honor to be witness to people's self-exploration and to play a part in their growth and change. My clients continually inspire me to act courageously and to live with more integrity. I just love my job so much.
What are your fees per session?
My fees are $155 for individual therapy and $205 for relationship and family therapy. And I also have limited sliding scale fee slots for people who are struggling financially or unable to pay the full fee.
Any last words?
I love this question from the poet David White. What conversation can you set in motion that your future self will be grateful to you for having begun?